I would like to apologize for the rather poor taste of the previous item. Excuse me, please.
And now for our rather pretentious introduction.
Hello and welcome to Tobacco Pipes and More. I'm Okie Ozark Piper, and on this episode of Match Busters, we come once again to the pipe tobacco graveyard to visit at the grave of a discontinued tobacco in hopes of finding a suitable replacement. The blend we chose this time is an old favorite of many. It was developed by the Dunhill Tobacco Company in 1928 and was finally put out of production in 2017. The blend is London Mixture, and our matches are Big Ben from Pipes and Cigars and GLP's Westminster.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so some of the first smells we get, there's a horsey, leathery smell, some Latakia definitely, but also some nice Orientals in there. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is a traditional English blend, no doubt about it. Well, let's see how it tastes.
Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That is some... So here we get an opportunity to see them all three side by side. I would say at first glance, London Mixture looks closer to Big Ben. The cut on all three of these are pretty close. There's a little bit of difference because we're dealing with different companies, but overall, they're pretty close. Looking at Westminster and London Mixture side by side, even though they have the same components, the colors of the individual components seem to contrast more in the Westminster than they do the London Mixture. Now, all three of these tobaccos contain Latakia Oriental Turkish Virginia, but it seems in the Westminster that it kind of stands out, the Latakia stands out a little bit more. Between Big Ben and London Mixture, you're just seeing this contrast of browns. And London Mixture seems to be a little bit more consistent in its coloring, not a lot of contrast. But Big Ben seems to have a little bit more color contrast in it. Looking at these two here side by side, Big Ben and London Mixture, I would say that of the three, these two look the most alike. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you say we're doing so far?
Bloody Americans.
Would you say that our introduction has been informative and engaging?
Bloody Americans.
So, we've examined the old standby London Mixture. And we've also taken a look at the new kind of runner-up, the replacement, which they call Big Ben nowadays. That one I thought really paled in comparison to the original. Now, there is a third blend I'm smoking right now, and that's GLP's Westminster. Now, the story was that GLP's went through a tin of London Mixture and kind of picked out the pieces and decided, that he was going to recreate that. I think he did a pretty good job. In fact, I think that for most people, the Westminster is a cut above the London mixture. And I have kind of two theories on that. One is the tobacco's fresher, so the Latakia is going to be more forward. And you certainly see that in the blend. The Latakia and the London mixture is kind of more in the back. I don't recall if that's how it always was, but it's how it is now today, with an old tin of London mixture and a new tin of Westminster. But also, GLPs just makes good tobaccos. And so I think you can just go to the store, you can go to smokingpipes.com or whatever, and buy a tin of Westminster, and you can have the experience that we all had for years with London mixture. That's my opinion.
Okay, I want to point out from the get-go that this is going to be the fastest review, and it's going to be unlike the typical pipe tobacco review. I find a lot of times in the typical pipe tobacco review that they just go on too long, that they just talk too much. Guys getting up in the middle of the video to go get box cutters, and then they come back, the dog's barking in the background, you can't really hear what they're talking. This one, I plan on going right to the heart of the matter without talking a whole bunch, without having to go through, the story of my life, or talk about all these extra things that are out there on the peripherals of my life in relationship to just this tobacco. So this is just going to be about nothing but this tobacco review. I'm not going to talk about the fact that yesterday I went walking around the garden, a local garden with my family. I'm not going to refer to any of that stuff. I'm not going to talk about the great time we had. I'm not going to talk about, how it was so beautiful. I'm not going to go through any of that with you. This review is going to be specifically right to the heart of the matter. Which one of these tobaccos is the best match for London mixture? Which one really lines up with London mixture? And I'm not going to go through and talk, you don't want to know like all the little details, do you? I mean, you don't want to know that, that Big Ben has tons of bite to it, that it's in the flavor profile, but it's in, it's really a little bit, it's not, it is and it isn't, but it's not, it's close, but it's no cigar. And really it's such a poor match, I would say, in some way. I'm not going to go through any of that. I'm not going to talk about the fact that Westminster is really nothing like London mixture. It's actually a very good tobacco. I'm not going to go and tell you all of that information. I'm not going to say that GLP's actually made an improvement over London mixture. I'm not going to go through any of that. What I'm going to do in this review is I'm just going to cut right to the heart of the matter. I'm going to tell you exactly which one is the best match, and that way you'll have the information without having to sit through and listen to me just go on and on and on about different things. I mean, some people, you will sit and watch a guy, hang on. Not wanting to like this morning. Sit and watch a guy light his pipe sometimes, or do his tobacco, and it's so annoying. I mean, who wants to sit and watch somebody take puffs of smoke for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes before they ever say, well, I mean, come on, get real. What we want to hear in a pipe review is just a pipe review. We don't want to hear a whole life story. We don't want to sit and look at your face. I mean, let's be honest, most of us are not that handsome. We're just guys with pipes. You know, we're not celebrities. We're not Brad Pitt smoking a pipe here. I mean, we just want to cut to the chase and talk about the review. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear, hang on, I'm sorry, one more time. We don't want to sit and wait for you to come back with a box cutter so we can, you know, watch you open a box that's got a couple of tobaccos in it, okay? We can Google that. We can look at pictures of that. What we want to know is the actual factual facts of the review. So, here we go. World's fastest review. Prepare yourself. World's fastest review. The best match for London mixture of the two that we tried is, in my opinion, Big Ben, but it falls short because it has more tongue bite. The flavor profile is closer to London mixture that I tried, whereas Westminster is a step above London mixture, I believe. More division, better tobacco than London mixture, so not a match. Best match, Big Ben. See, 33 seconds.